record a class that went missing. So this is a full moon practice. It'll be slightly shorter than an hour and a half. And so take a moment to ground into your seated pose. You could have a bolster underneath your sit bones or a cushion or a blanket. Remember your pelvis to be level, so your sit bones to be level. And then bring your hands into your lap with your left palm on top of your right. Prana Mudra. Engage Mula Bandha. Feel, sense and imagine the 4 points of the bony pelvis, pubic bone at the front, tailbone at the back, left and right sit bone. Draw them to the midline and up towards your crown. And then release them. And as you breathe in, separate your hands and start to draw your hands with your breath up through your body. The top of your breath when your hands are at the level of your throat. Pause here, opening your hands wide, feeling like you're holding the moon between your hands. And then when you need to exhale, keep your internal gaze fixed at the point between your eyebrows, and you'll slowly bring your breath and your hands back down, resting your hands into your lap as you complete your exhale. Engage Mula Bandha. You might like to add Khichari Mudra, tip of tongue, roof of mouth. Then release the tongue, release the bandha. Breathing in gently, you can take several breaths to bring your hands to the level of your throat. Gently open the hands like you're holding the moon. Then when you need to exhale, feel like you're pouring the moonlight down through your crown. With your gaze soft or your eyes closed, focus at the point between your eyebrows. Bring your hands back into your lap. Engage Mula Bandha, Khichari Mudra to complete the round. Do one more on your own. As you complete the round, bring your hands into Hakini Mudra. Tips of fingers touching, palms apart. Soft eyes or closed eyes, feeling the effects of Prana Mudra. And then bring your hands to your heart space. Take a moment if you wish to dedicate this practice or to set an intention for this practice. Atha, Yoga, New Shasanam. It is, with great respect and infinite love for ourselves and all beings, that we now come to this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's begin with the circle of joy. As you inhale, interlace your fingers and lift your elbows high. Exhaling, pressing your palms forward, rounding through your spine. Then take your hands skyward, lengthening from your sit bones all the way up to your palms. Releasing your hands around you, hollow in the front as you interlace behind, and then lengthen pubic bone to breastbone, drawing your knuckles towards long. As you exhale, release your hands and give yourself a hug, wrapping your arms all the way around your trunk. See if you can find the inner aspect of your shoulder blades. And you could stay here, or you could exhale and sink into a slump, bringing your elbows towards your lower ribs. Staying here or flowing, lifting the elbows, opening through the front of the body and the chest, and then exhale, curl. Stay here now and breathe into that resistance between your shoulder blades, even massaging along the inner aspect of the shoulder blades. And then come on up so your elbows are parallel. Open your arms wide with your elbows bent, and then release your hands to your heart space. Inhale, interlace, lift high. Exhale, press down just in front of the feet. Then take your hands skyward. Release around, Opposite thumb on top. Hollow, and then lengthen pubic bone to breastbone. Draw your knuckles towards long, elbows towards straight. Stay here or soften your chin to your chest. Then lift your chin. As you release your arms, wrap the opposite arm over the top to give yourself a hug. And then sink on down and hold as you breathe into that resistance. If you'd like to flow, as you breathe in, come on up, separating your hands, take your arms back with your elbows bent, and then cross your arms the other way, coming into this hug. And sink your elbows down towards your pelvis. Coming on up, separating your hands, draw your shoulder blades towards one another, and then cross your arms the opposite, and come on down. One more time if you're flowing. And then slowly come on up. Take your arms out wide. And then imagine that you're drawing your hands slowly back to your heart space, back to where we began. Circle of joy. And then lean back into your pelvis, come off your prop, and bring your feet out in front, and let's come into Navasana. So rocking back onto your sit bones, have the inner blades of your feet together. You can stay here, or you can flow. Curl yourself into a tight ball. Coming back out, going back in. And then let's bring the feet to the floor. Bring your sit bones right behind your heels. Wrap your arms around your forearms. Let your eye sockets sink towards your knees. And then let your chest come away from your thighs. Breathing into that resistance between the shoulder blades. And then come back up onto the sit bones, hugging yourself in. Take your forearms behind your thighs and roll through your spine. And enjoy massaging your spine into the floor. And then when you're ready, stay on the floor. Plant your feet. Bring your arms out beside you. And let's come into an arch and release. As you breathe in, gently arch your back, rolling your pelvis towards your feet. If it was a bowl of water, it's like you're pouring the water out the front. And then when you breathe out, let your back melt. Let your back go. And again, breathing in. Let the back arch so the belt line lifts away from the floor. Weight comes a little more into the pelvis. Front of the body lets go. Let the back melt like warm honey drizzling off a spoon. One more time, breathing in. If your pelvis is a bowl of water, it's like you're pouring the water out the front. And then just slowly let your back melt. Like ice cream melting onto the hot concrete in the middle of summer. Stay here now and tuck your tail even more, flattening your back. And then pick up your pelvis and peel yourself up into your bridge. You can keep your arms out in this soft sort of T, or you can take your arms straight away above your head. You can have them hands, shoulder width apart, or go wider if that's more comfortable for you. And slowly roll down, one vertebrae at a time. See if you can bring the base of your ribs and then tuck your tail so you can roll through your lumbar vertebrae. When your pelvis is down, you'll inhale and arch. You can slide your hands down to more shoulder height. And then release your back. Like pancake batter melting in a hot pan. Tuck the tail and begin to peel up. And as you do, then let your tail lengthen towards behind your knees. Check that your knees are the same distance apart as your feet. You can take your hands higher and slowly roll down. One vertebrae at a time. Then take your hands and interlace them behind your head. As you breathe in, gently arch the back again, pressing the shoulders and maybe the elbows towards the floor. As you breathe out, let your back go.
Tuck your elbows in and sit on up, pointing your elbows towards your knees. And now take your time, 3 or 4 breaths, slowly lowering yourself back down. You're lifting your head off your shoulders, like your head's a grand piano and you're slowly lowering it out a window, and your abdominals are the rope that are lengthening. And let's put those two together, hands come out into that T, peel up into the bridge, take your arms above your head, super slow roll down. Hands come behind, interlaced. Inhale, arch, pressing the shoulders back and maybe the elbows. Letting the back go like a fireman's hose coming out of a reel. Let it release to allow you to sit up a little easier. Elbows point towards your knees. And then imagine you're lifting your head off your shoulders and super slow. Lower that to grand piano, letting the rope of the muscles of the front of the body lengthen to lower you down. This time when your head comes back down, bring your knees into your chest and hug them in. Cross your feet and rock your knees towards your armpits. And then take your feet higher, bring your arms relaxed beside you. And then let's lower the legs. And let's come into a steeple twist. So bring your hands up into steeple pose with your hands interlaced and your elbows straight. And let the barrel of your ribs roll to the side, taking your arms with you. And roll from side to side. So imagine your ribs are like a barrel. And you're just allowing the barrel to roll. Keep those elbows straight. And then come back to center and cross your right leg over your left. You're going to tip your pelvis to the right, not too far with this movement, and roll the ribs to the left. So you want to come as far as you can without arching your back, no pressure in your lower back. Then you come back to center, separate your hands, backs of hands come to the floor, pelvis rolls to the left, you turn to the right. And flow. Come back to center, keep your elbows straight as you roll your ribs to the left, pelvis to the right. If there's any pressure in your lower back, keep going, but uncross your legs and do it with the feet and knees parallel and together. Come back to steeple, you tip the pelvis to the right, ribs and arms come to the left, elbows stay straight. Come back to center, and then if your legs are crossed, you'll swap and cross the left leg over the right, tipping the pelvis to the left, keeping the back long, so you're not arching your lower back, rather lengthening your side, and ribs and arms come to the right. Come back to center, separate the hands, let the pelvis roll to the right, and you turn to look to the left. And now flow. Let your breath be easeful. And the next time you take your pelvis over to the right, pause here. Uncross your legs, bring your left arm with you, and come all the way over onto your side. Then make your way up to the back of your mat in Vajrasana. Bring your hands to your heart space, and then separate your hands, or your palms rather, like you're holding the full moon. As you breathe in, rise up into the high knee, drawing the arms around you. You're going to step your left foot forward and bring your hands to your heart. Coming forward into your lunge, taking your hands in front, and then separate your hands. You're going to dip to your left first, right fingertips towards the ceiling. Come back to center and then dip right. Chandra Namaskar, salute to the moon. Turning yourself to the left. You can bend your left elbow, bring your fist to your pelvis, or keep the back hand straight. Come back to center. Remember it's your belly and chest that turns. Keep squeezing the left heel into the midline. back to center. Left forearm to your thigh, right hand to your back thigh. Stay here or lift the back knee and maybe draw the toes towards your buttocks. Then you release your back toes tucked. Bring the right fingertips to the floor and turn your belly, chest and heart towards your front leg, to your left. You can stay here with the back knee down, or you lift the back knee and press out through your back heel. Then you lower, frame your front foot. As you lower your hands, step back to plank. You can stay in the full plank or join me in a knee down plank. Imagine you're turning your hands out to the side and slowly release. Toes are tucked. Inhale into Sphinx. Draw back on your elbows and gently turn and look towards your left heel. Let your right ribs come with you. Lengthen your whole right side to allow the movement. Come back to center and go the other way. Come back to center. Release to the floor. Inhale to your hands and knees. Release your tucked toes and sink back into Vajrasana and into this forward child pose, Balasana. Imagine you're holding the moon between your hands, and as you breathe in, draw the moonlight above you, below you, and through you. And then we'll roll up one vertebra at a time into Vajrasana or the high kneel, if that's better for your knees. When your hands come to your pelvis, separate your hands, draw your arms around you like you're surrounding yourself in moonlight, and bring your hands to your heart. Chandra Namaskar. As you breathe in, rise up into that high kneel, draw the moon around you. Hold here and then bring the moon to your heart space as you step your right foot forward. Palms come together, come forward into your lunge. If you're not stable enough, remember you can bring that back foot towards the right side. Come out of the lunge a little. Come back into your lunge and dip to your right. Come to center and move to the left. Flow back to center. Belly, chest and heart turns to the right. You can bend the back elbow, fist to the pelvis. Come back to center and then turn yourself to the left and really squeeze the front heel to the midline. Back to center. Right forearm to your thigh. Back hand comes to your back thigh, or you lift the back knee and you bring your toes towards your pelvis or your heel. Stay here or even slide your toes towards your elbow. Then release the back foot tucked. Fingertips to the floor, turn yourself towards the front leg, towards the right, and take the hands go. You can stay here, or lift the back knee and press out through the back heel. Then you plant your hands, framing your front foot. Step back to your plank. Slowly release. Toes are tucked. Inhale into a Sphinx. Turning to look towards the right heel first this time. And let your ribs come with you. Come back to center and then go the other way. Back to center and release. Inhale to your hands and knees. Release your toes as you come back into Balasana, holding the moon. Take a full breath round. Letting the moonlight wash through you. And then roll up one vertebra at a time into Vajrasana. When your hands come to your pelvis, separate your hands. Surround yourself in moonlight. Let your fingertips touch. And then bring your palms together. As you come back, hands to the heart space. Chandra Namaskar. Salute to the moon. Take a moment to feel the essence of Chandra Namaskar. Then release your fingertips down. You can roll up at the back of your mat. So at the back of your mat, come into that easy squat. You might even like to pause here, ground your hands or your fingertips And rise up onto the balls of your feet, keeping your thighs and your belly in contact. Release your head. Feel like you're pressing your hands down and forward, and then sink your heels to the floor. And again, really pressing the floor away with your hands. You can even feel like you're pressing it down or away and forward, and then slowly sink down. Then start to bring your heels to the floor, release into your Uttanasana. And go down to come up, so tuck your tail, bend your knees, and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Draw your arms around you, let your palms touch. And take your left foot forward and line your left heel up with your toes, so your feet are still hip width apart, but you're in a staggered squat, bias squats. And then squat on down like you're just going to do up your shoelace. Press down through your feet to come up. Hands above your head, palms touch. Step the right foot forward. Squat on down. Press down through your legs to come on up. Step the left foot forward. Heel lines up with the toes. Squat on down. Make sure your knees are tracking over. And you're going to step your left foot forward. Easy squat, bias squat. Left heel lines up with the toes. Come on up. Palms above your head. Then step your right foot forward. Sink down. Come on up. Palms touch above your head. Left foot forward. Go down as far as is comfortable for your knees. You don't have to go all the way down. Left foot forward. Easy squat, come on up. Finish with the right. Press down through your feet, come on up. Bring your hands to your heart. At the top of your mat, Surya Namaskar, salute to the rising and the setting of the sun, within and without. As you inhale, interlace your fingers and draw your elbows apart. Exhale, press forward, coming into the circle of joy first. Take your hands skyward, rise to the balls of your feet. Release your hands around. Interlacing, you'll hollow the front and then lengthen the front of the body, drawing your elbows towards long. As you exhale, release your hands, bring them to your heart space. Taking your hands skyward on the breath in. Swan dive, flat back, bent knees. Find your flat back. Take that right leg back and lower the knee. Release the knee to the floor. Feel like you're drawing your knee forward as you take your hands skyward. Let your hands come down and frame your front foot. Step back to plank and release to the floor. Inhale into cobra. Let's take the fingers really wide. Come up onto your fingertips. Feel like you're drawing your fingertips back as you slowly lower. Inhale to your hands and knees or plank. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Lower the left knee. Draw that left knee forward, tucking your pelvis as you come on up. Release, framing the front foot. Retract, come forward and release into Uttanasana. And then slowly roll up. Draw your hands around you. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, take the hands skyward. Swan dive, flat back. Release into Uttanasana. Find your flat back here. Step that left foot back and bend the back knee. Come on up and really tuck the pelvis under so you're opening the front of the hip. And then take your hands skyward. Releasing your hands. Framing your front foot. Now press down through the floor. You're going to tuck your right heel in and then go back into a three-legged plank. And release to the floor. Inhale into cobra. Release. To your hands and knees or plank. Downward facing dog. Taking the left foot forward. Bend that back knee. Tuck your tail as you come on up. To really open through the front of the back hip. And take your hands go. Release. Retract. Come forward and release into Uttanasana. And then slowly roll up. Draw your arms around you. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, take the hands skyward. Swan dive. Soft knees, flat back. Find your flat back. You're going to take your left foot back. Again, bend the back knee. And come on up. And then release your hands to your heart space and really press out through your left heel. You're going to revolve to your right. So you have the option to lower the hand to the floor, come into this version we did earlier, or with your hands at your heart space, come into Namaste. Really press out through your back heel. Then come back to center. Release your hands. Again, you can touch your right heel to your buttocks. Step back into a three-legged plank and release. Inhale into Sphinx or Cobra. Draw back on your hands as you release. Inhale into your hands and knees. Or plank and release into downward facing dog. And stay here for a breath or two. Then you'll take your left leg and step it between your hands. You can take it up and long first if you like, or just step it lightly. Bend the back knee, come on up. Then bring your hands to your heart. Press out through your back heel, turning yourself into revolving warrior. Lift the back elbow, fingertips point towards you. Come back to center. Let's go back to plank. So draw this left heel in towards your pelvis. Go back into a three-legged plank and release. Inhale into Sphinx or Cobra. Release to the floor. To your hands and knees or plank. Downward facing dog. And then roll. Walk your hands back to your feet. Slowly rolling up. Drawing your arms around you. Hands to your heart. Right foot steps forward first. Heel lines up with toes. And you squat down like you're going to draw up your shoes. But remember, if it's not right for your knees, don't go as deep. And then press down through your legs to come up. Step your left foot forward. Squat on down. Press down through your feet to come up. Right foot forward, squat down, press through your feet to come up. Left foot forward, squat down, press down through your feet, come on up. Notice if you're already at the top of your mat, we started with the right, so to balance you want to finish with the left. Bring your feet parallel. Pause for a moment with your hands into Tadasana, feeling the effects of Surya Namaskar. And let's flow through Chandra Namaskar. So imagine that you're holding the moon at your heart space. Draw your hands around you, encircling yourself in moonlight. And then from here, you're going to step your left foot back. Bend that back knee, tuck the back pelvis, bring the moon to your thigh. Then take the moon skyward and create this arc of moonlight from your front foot to the back. Releasing the moon. Flowing like you're creating an arc of moonlight. One more time, back loop really switched on. Then take the moon into the sky, pivot on both feet and bring the moon to your heart. Take the moon skyward, pivot back to the front of your mat, Press out through your back heel, release the moon, frame your front foot. Step back into downward dog. So you could come into cat-cow here. You could come forward into a knee down up dog, really lifting your inner thighs, shoulders stay behind your wrists, and then take your pelvis back and glide into down dog. Or from Adho Mukha Svanasana, come right up to the tips of your toes, glide over your feet into up dog, lifting your inner thigh. And then pick up your pelvis and glide back. One more time, your choice. Then pause here in downward facing dog. You can take that left leg up and long and step it lightly between your hands and pick up the moon and bring it to your thigh. Just swap around so you can see. Then take the moon skyward and create this arc of moonlight. Check that your back glute is active, so your back knee is bent, tailbone's tucked. Then we'll take the moon up to the sky, pivot to your right, bring the moon to your heart. Take it skyward, pivot back to the front, release the moon to the ground as you press out through your back heel, frame your front foot. Step back into downward facing dog. Remember, you could lower your knees and come into 3 rounds of cat-cow. You could lower the knees and come forward into up dog, feeling like you're turning your hands out without moving them, feeling your shoulder blades engaged, and gliding back into down dog. Or to the balls of the feet or even the tips of the toes, and come through. Lift your inner thighs and then glide back. Let's all meet in downward dog. And lower the knees, release the feet, pick up the moon, settle into child. Take a few breaths here, letting the moon wash through you, over you, below you. And then you roll up into Vajrasana or the high kneel if that's better for your knees. Start to bring the moonlight through the energy centers of your being, the root chakra, sacral, solar, the level of your heart. Turn your fingers skyward, throat, ajna, crown. And then bring the moonlight back down. Saraswara, ajna, Vishuddha at the throat, Anahata. Turn the fingers down. Manipura, Swadhisthana, Muladhara, and back into the earth. Twice more on your own. And then when you come back to child, pause here. And then slowly make your way back up into standing, rolling up. Remember to bend your knees, release your pelvis, go down to come up. Bring the moon with you, take the moon into the sky and release. Standing at the back of the mat, into Tadasana, feeling the effects of Chandra Namaskar.
And then step the left foot forward. Line the heel up with your toes, lift the back heel. Squat down like you're gonna bend, like you're gonna do up your shoelaces. And then come all the way up into standing. Draw your arms out into a T this time. And let's come into tree pose. You can bring the heel just above the ankle, below the knee, or all the way up into the groin. Then release the right foot. Squat on down. Press through your feet to come up. Take your hands above your head, then bring them out into a T. You can bring the left toes just above the ankle, below the knee, or all the way up. And then you release the left foot down, squat on down, press through your feet, come all the way up. Bring your right leg where you would like it to be, hands can be above your head, or out into this T. Then release the right foot, squat on down, come all the way back up, left foot into position, arms above your head or in the T. Let's hold here. Left foot forward, easy squat. Come on up. Bring your right foot into position and hold. This is Vrikshasana. You can look ahead. You could look slightly down. You can stay with your hands above your head or bring your branches wide. And then come out of the pose as gracefully as you went into it. Bring your hands to your heart, the top of your mat. If you're practicing salute to the moon when the moon's up, feel free to do another round. If you're practicing like me and the sun is up, let's come into Surya Namaskar. So as you inhale, take your hands skyward. You can roll down or swan dive, flat back, soft knees. Find your flat back. And you're going to step your right foot back. Let's plant the heel, back heel for a heel down sky warrior. Press down through your feet and come on up. Feel like you're splitting the mat and drawing your feet apart. And then bring your arms out, bend your elbows. And as you breathe out, feel like you're drawing your legs together and wrap your arms around you as you tip forward into pyramid, hugging your trunk. Now you can hold and breathe and really feel like you're drawing your feet together now, plugging those hip bones into your hip sockets. Or if you want to flow, take your arms wide, elbows bent. Just notice that you're drawing the front of the ribs in. And then exhale, wrap your arms the opposite way into pyramid. One more time if you're flowing, or keep holding in either pose. Sky warrior or pyramid. And then from pyramid, let your front knee bend, plant your hands, you're framing your front foot, step the back foot back a little, and let's tuck this left heel in towards your pelvis, come back into a three-legged dog, or three-legged plank I should say, and release to the floor. Let's come into a back lift and Dhanurasana. So it might be nice to come into Dhanurasana first, so bending your knees, finding your feet. Remember, if this pose is not right for you, come back into Cobra, to Bhujangasana. And then pressing your pelvis down, you kick your feet into your hands, and that resistance brings you up. You can breathe into your chest and stay quite still, or breathe into your belly and rock. And then release. Turn your head to one side and bring that arm out into a T. Check that the tops of your feet and the tops of the knees face the floor. Have a moment to give your weight and feel the effects of Dhanurasana. And then as you need to breathe in, you lift your chest, draw your shoulder blade over your ribs so your hands sort of drag along the floor.
connecting to your opposite leg that reaches long. Feel the rope of your back contract, and then slowly let that rope release to lower you down and completely switch off. Lifting the chest, drawing the shoulder blade over the ribs. Tops of the feet and the knees face the floor of both legs. And slowly release. Let your back lengthen, completely switch off. One more time. Have a moment of melt. And then turn your head to the other side. Check that your pelvis is level. You can rock your pelvis gently from side to side. Tops of feet, tops of knees are on the floor. And you'll gently lift your chest, drawing your shoulder blade over your ribs. Feel the connection from your shoulder to your opposite leg. And then super slow, let your back muscles lengthen to lower you down. Completely switch off, which often means your feet want to roll out. Tops of feet, tops of knees on the floor. Lifting the chest, shoulder blade glides over the ribs like there's a rope from that shoulder to your opposite leg that's drawing the shoulder blade and the arm inwards. And then slowly let the rope lengthen, let your back lengthen and switch off. One more time. Look to the floor if that's better for your neck, or look towards your thumb and slowly release. Have a moment of melt. And then you choose. You could just go straight back into child, or if you'd like to come back into Dhanurasana and see how it feels after releasing your strapped back muscles, find your feet. And remember to lift your legs up and back, and that's what creates the tension to lift you off the floor. Breathe into your belly or into your chest. And then slowly release. Have that moment of melt. Then hands underneath your chest and come up onto your hands and knees. Take your knees wide, feet together. Come back into child, but this time a wide-legged child. Release your forehead towards the floor. And let's come into dolphin, coming onto your forearms, bring your knees in. Tuck your tail as you lift your heels, just so your knees a little bit off the floor. Then take one foot and pulse it towards the ceiling. And then release that foot and swap sides. Keep your pelvis level. So you might need to make the second side movement smaller and slower. And then release. Come back into child or down dog, your choice. And you're gonna hold. So if you're holding downward dog, find the length in your spine, pressing the whole rim of your hand equally and evenly into the mat. Let your elbows bend slightly. Let there be no tension in your neck as you feel your shoulder blades spreading. Like they try to wrap around the outsides of your ribs. And then when you're ready, you can take your right leg up and long and then step it lightly between your hands. Bend your back knee as you come up and then plant that back heel for heel down sky warrior. Arms come out into that cactus arms if you like. You could stay here the whole time, or if you'd like to flow, move your front knee towards straight, wrap your arms around you, coming into pyramid. Breathing in, feel like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat, you open. Keep the front of the ribs drawing in. Wrapping the arms around, opposite arm on top. Hugging yourself as you come into pyramid. Keep pressing the ball of the front foot down. But there's a sense in pyramid that you're drawing your legs together and then you're drawing your feet apart. One more time. And from your pyramid, lift your back foot, plant your hands, retract, come forward, maybe on your fingertips of course, find your flat back, release into Uttanasana, stay here. So you might like to hang and hold on to your elbows. And then release your elbows and go down to come up. Draw your arms around you and bring your hands to your heart space. Pause for a moment. Then as you breathe in, draw your arms around you. Exhale, you're going to swan dive, flat back. Release into your Uttanasana and find your flat back. And take your right foot back. Better go this way. Right foot back and plant your back heel. And come on up for Earth Warrior, Virabhadrasana 2. Feel like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat without moving them. Press that front heel down and forward. You look to your future and you acknowledge every bit of your past. Soften your eyes, soften your skin. There's tension in your shoulders and your chest. Release your arms, wrap them around you, hug yourself and really massage along the inner blade of that shoulder blade, or both shoulder blades. And then release and come back out. Let's turn the front palm skyward, honouring the moon. Bend your back hand, bring your thigh into your hand and your hand into your thigh. Outer blade of foot presses into the floor. Just look down and make sure your knee is still tracking over the middle two toes, that front knee. And it's stacking over your ankle or behind. Virabhadrasana. And then imagine that someone is drawing you up by your hands. Parallel your feet, hands to your heart. Let's come into Goddess or Horseman's pose, so bring your heels in. You're going to turn to whichever side you want actually. If you're coming with me, I'm going left first. So you press the right base of the thumb into the thigh, so not the knee, but come up a bit so you're on the thigh, to keep your knee tracking over your middle two toes. And then come back to center. Press the left hand to the left thigh and come back to center. One more each time. This time notice whether you keep the elbow bent, the side you're turning to, or whether you keep it straight. And it'll change where you feel it, so play. Notice what you need. And then come to center. And you can walk your hands forward and stay in this wide-legged downward facing dog. Or you could bring your hands back, even turn your fingertips away from your toes and come into Prasarita Padottanasana. And if you like playing with this idea of building towards handstands or arm balancing, then you roll onto the balls of your feet, maybe even the tips of your toes. Press the floor down and away, look slightly forward towards your thumbs, and then slowly rock back. And you can do that several times. Really round through the upper back, press the floor down, like you're pressing yourself, pressing away from the floor, down and slightly forward, and then slowly back. And then roll on up. You can bring your heels in first if you need to. Turn the right toes forward, and you might need to pick up the back heel, step it back, so you have a heel to instep alignment. Press the front foot down and forward to bring the weight into the outer blade of your back foot. Virabhadrasana 2. Look to your future. Acknowledge every bit of your past. Stay very present so you can flow with whatever comes your way. Then you'll turn the front palm skyward, bend the back elbow, bring that hand to your thigh, press your thigh into your hand. So really match and yield the back hand and thigh. Back glute really active. Take that hand skyward. You can even bend your elbow and hold on to the base of your skull if you like.
Check that that front knee is tracking over the middle two toes. And then gently windmill your hands forward to your right leg. And then pivot your hands around, parallel your feet. Stay here. And start to heel toe your feet back in. Notice what you need. You could go straight down and into Samatasana and pause here, releasing your back. You could even take your knees wide and release your back even more. If you want to play with an arm balance, then plant your hands. Feel like you're trying to make fists, so the tips of your fingers press forward. Then you rock onto those hands, look forward, press the floor away, and then your feet can just easily come up. Coming back into Samatasana when you're ready. And you're going to sit down and bring your feet out in front. So we're going to come into Gomukhasana. So grab a cushion or a blanket. And then take your left foot, so I'll mirror you, and bring your left foot underneath your right, and bring your knee towards the midline. And then bring the right leg to wherever it needs to be. I'll come back a bit so you can see my feet. And you might just massage the soles of the feet. And if you're at your edge, stay here. You might notice that the left sit bone is a little lower, so you can either move the flesh and be balanced, or take a prop and just chuck it underneath the left side to balance your pelvis. If you need to go deeper, you're going to come forward from your hips. Find your edge. Try not to get ahead of yourself, so keep your head in line with your spine. And if your edge widens, then maybe you come deeper. Focus at the point between your eyebrows, whether your eyes are closed or soft. And send your breath into that resistance. And then slowly roll back up, one vertebrae at a time. Lean back. And even take the top leg off, but bring the left heel, so imagine I'm still mirroring you, bring the left heel in towards your groin, and then you can lay yourself down. So laying down, you might even need to go through your left side, rolling yourself down. The prop is not the right spot for me. Taking your prop out of the way, come to the floor. And just notice, if you can, keep your back flat into the floor. Can you start to release the left thigh down towards the floor? You stay here, or you can bring your right leg in towards your chest and hug that right leg in. It's easier if I keep mirroring you. See if you can almost feel like you're trying to straighten this left leg. So you're pressing the outer ankle bone into the floor. And then let it release. And you can keep pressing it into the floor. Let your back soften as you let your thigh release. And then gently release the right foot down, straighten the left leg, straighten both legs. Have a moment to just feel how the right side feels compared to the left side compared to the right. And then you can either roll over onto your side and come up, or you might like to roll through spine once again, bringing your knees into your chest and roll yourself. Coming up into sitting. Now you're going to take your right leg, bring it underneath, line your knee up with your pubic bone. And where your left leg comes to, it really doesn't matter. So your knees have to be happy, so no compromising your knees at all in these poses. And you'll notice that the right sit bone is lower, so you grab your prop and you chock it underneath that sit bone. Find your heels, or the soles of your feet, whatever needs a little bit of love. And stay here if you're not quite at your edge. Try not to lead with your head, but rather rock forward from your pelvis. You can pause here or go deeper. Send your breath into the resistance. And then you'll slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Take your prop out of the way. Lean back. So take the left leg out of the way. But if you can, bring that heel in towards your groin. You're going to lie down. So you might need to go through the right side to come on down. Feel free to do that. And then once you're there, see if you can let your back soften. So this knee might need to come up off the floor for your back to release. So that's where you want to start. And then draw the left knee in towards your chest. Hold it in. Imagine that you're trying to press that outer ankle bone into the floor on the right side and keep lengthening. Like there's a rope from your rib cage all the way to your knees. Lengthen that rope towards the floor. And then gently let the right knee come back to the midline. Release the left foot. You might like to lie for a moment with your legs long. And decide as you lay here, do you need to come into a restorative inversion? Or are you done? And you could stay here. You might take a prop and bring it underneath your knees. If you have a bolster, you can always put the bolster underneath your pelvis for your inversion. If you don't, you can use a blanket or a crescent moon cushion and then take your legs up. Let one foot come slightly forward so that your feet fit neatly together on the inner blades. Bring your arms down beside you and let your breath be balanced and even. You could take your legs up the wall. You could move over to your couch. Take your legs up and over the couch. Have a right angle at your knees and a right angle at your hips. Or if you'd like to come into Viparita, the one pose you can do without two blankets, then you roll, bring your hands to your glutes. So normally we'd have our hands in our lower back, but you bring your hands to your glutes with your fingers pointing up towards your sit bones, and then you press the upper arms back from your shoulders to the elbows. The weight is even. So if you take your legs too far forward, there's too much weight on your shoulders. If you take the weight too far back, it's in your elbows. Find the balance where it's in the whole of your upper arms. And let your breath be balanced and even. And when you're ready, you'll make your way into Shavasana. Of course, come into a spinal twist if you need it. Feet together, knees together. You can lift your feet off the floor, or you can stay here, dipping your pelvis to one side and turning away.
If you like the wash rag, you tip your pelvis to the right, you roll the right arm from your shoulder blade and your left arm from your shoulder blade upwards. Then you bring your pelvis back to level, tip your pelvis to the left, rolling the right shoulder blade, the whole arm follows like a rolling pin as you roll the right up. And then come back to center, preparing yourself for Shavasana. So Shavasana is one of the most, well, it is the most important part of your practice, because it's when your whole practice integrates into your being. So let's use the double breath to bring you swiftly into this place of stillness. The double breath comes from Paramahansa Yogananda Ji. And you inhale and you tense your body as you inhale in a short and a long. Make fists, tighten your hands, tighten your jaw, your eyes, your toes, your buttocks, and then let it go. A short and long exhale, releasing the tension from your crown to your fingers and your toes. Again. Feel like you take the double breath through all the layers of your being. One more. Through the physical, through the pranic body, the energetic body. Through the emotional body, the thought body, and the causal body. And allow your body to rest into the floor. Imagine the full moon just beyond the soles of your feet. Feel like you're drawing the moonlight in through all 10 toes as they soften and release. The soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the ankles and the heels, the shins and the calves, your knees and your kneecaps, your thighs. Feel the moonlight pouring into your pelvis. And become aware of Mula Bandha just beyond the tip of your tailbone. Let the moonlight fill Mula Bandha, balanced and whole. Feel the moonlight spreading into the whole of your pelvis. And at the top of the sacrum, Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra, balanced and whole. Let the moonlight spread into your lower back and abdomen, your diaphragm, ribs, all of the organs of the abdomen and chest, shoulder blades and shoulders. And become aware of Manipura, the solar chakra, around the level of your navel, sometimes higher or lower, and inwards to the spine. Imagine it balanced and whole. Spinning vortex, internal sun. Feeling the softness through the lower back and the mid-back, the chest. And become aware of Anahata. Spinning vortex, balanced and whole, heart center. Middle of your chest inwards to your spine. Let the moonlight spread into Vishuddha, the throat, relaxing the front, back and sides of the neck. Spinning vortex, balanced and whole. Feel the moonlight spreading down to your shoulders and your armpits, and all the way down your arms to your hands. Imagine the moonlight pouring in through the base of the skull, filling the brain, scalp, skull, forehead, temples, eyes, behind your eyes, both sides of the jaw, cheeks, lips, tongue, whole mouth. Feel, sense, and imagine the moonlight filling
Ajna chakra, level with your third eye, inwards to the spine, spinning vortex, balanced and whole. And let the moonlight cascade out through the crown of your head and cocoon the whole of your being in moonlight. Allow the moonlight to balance the being and the doing, the lunar and the solar. Allow yourself to rest and to rejuvenate here. To bring your awareness back to your body cocooned within the moonlight on the floor. Feel that your practice is fully integrated into your being. And focus on the in-breath and start to draw the inhaling breath from the core of the earth. Bring it to your navel and let it spread from here into every single cell in your body. Then collect your breath back to your navel and send it like an anchor or a root deep into the earth. Keep breathing in this manner and start to move your fingers and your toes. And notice whether you'd like to take your arms over your head and stretch long or bring your knees into your chest. And then make your way over onto your preferred side and pause there, feeling the weight of the body grounding you. comfortable cross-legged, come to cross-legged, come to Vajrasana, or sit on a chair. Wherever you can be, where your pelvis is level and grounded. And let's practice alternate nostril breathing mentally. Focus at the point between the eyebrows as you gently soften or close your eyes. And imagine you're breathing in through the left nostril. Bring it to the point between the eyebrows. Exhale right. Let your breath be easeful and gentle. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Completing one round. Beginning the next, inhaling through the left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Do one more round on your own. As you complete the round you're doing, bring your hands to your heart. We'll finish with 3 arms. There's no pressure to join in. If you wish to join in, rub your palms together. Take a breath in as you open your hands wide. It is with great respect and infinite love that we now conclude this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Good timing as the neighbour starts to mow the lawn.